Hey guys, thanks for tuning in and checking out my video. If this is your first time here, thank you, I appreciate it. If not, and you've been supporting me and following me, thank you. Your support means the world to me. So for this video, I'm basically going to take you guys along for the ride and show you my whole entire fitness journey till now. As you can tell from the picture on the left, I was actually a really skinny kid. I think I was in my early teens in that picture. And I'm basically going to show you the process of me going from a really skinny kid to working out, being in shape, and actually putting on decent muscle size. Alright, you see the kid on the left with the oversized shirt? Yeah, that was me when I think I was in elementary school at that time. I used to be really skinny and I always wore like really baggy clothes because I was insecure about how skinny I was. But back then, baggy clothes was the trend, so at least I got away with that. And the kid in the middle is my little brother, and the one holding him is my dad. My dad used to always have really long hair. And in here, I was about 13. This was 8th grade, and right before I got to high school. And this video, I believe I was in the 10th grade at the time. As you can see, I was really skinny. I think I was about maybe 115 pounds in this video right here. That's my brother in the background, my little brother, my little sister, my older sister on the couch. It's an old VHS tape we had. And this photo right here, it's my mom and I actually really love this picture because we took it at a really dark time in my family's life. This was right after my dad went to jail and my mom went through the worst depression. I guess we all did. My mom didn't eat, she didn't sleep, and we just all struggled so much. We eventually lost the house, it was foreclosed, but I remember in this picture, I told my mom, hey, get dressed, let's go out, get something to eat. And after she got dressed, I told her how pretty she looked and got her to take this picture with me right before we left to try to cheer her up. And around that time is when I noticed, that was when I actually fell in love with working out. I noticed every time I work out, did some push-ups, lift some weights, and actually move around, I always felt a lot better. And that's what I needed on days where I just don't feel good. And that's how I began to love working out. And this is me just posing for MySpace back in the day. I noticed when I take my shirt off, I see some abs, and I was just really proud of that. And you know, they say once you see the results, it becomes very addictive, and I fell in love with the process basically. I was about 18 years old in this picture. This was right before I joined the army. I think I was like maybe 130, 135 pounds. I was really skinny. That's how I had abs. I was just starting to get some muscles. So right after high school, I basically joined the army. And when I came back from boot camp, I got really skinny. It's mainly because I'm an ectomorph and I had such a fast metabolism the whole boot camp experience. Not sleeping enough, not eating enough. I was actually hungry every minute of boot camp. And by the time I came home, I felt like I lost everything I worked for. I was really fast at running though. I could run and do so many push-ups, but lost a lot of mass. And that's just me home with my little brothers and sisters. So when I came back home, in between drill weekend, I would just work out a lot, eat a lot, and sleep more, obviously. And I signed up to my first gym. That's when I started learning about lifting weights, actually benching, squatting, deadlifts, things like that. And I noticed that's when I started putting on some decent muscle. I was still really skinny. I was about 130, 140 pounds, but I put in some decent size. And I was boxing. I was sparring a lot, and my cardio was at its peak back then. But that was right before I got really sick. It eventually led to me having a collapsed lung, and that led to a few surgery, and that led to them removing about a third of my left lung. And it's crazy. It's like I make so much progress when it comes to fitness wise, but then something happens, then a couple steps back, then I work out harder, and then it's a couple steps back. When I left the hospital after my surgery, I was barely 100 pounds and everything hurts. It was a struggle just to walk up the stairs, and I felt like I had to start all over again, which I did basically. And this was almost a year after the surgery. I was at a party at my friend's house, and I was actually passed out. And this photo, this was right before we deployed to Iraq. I was back in decent shape even after my surgery, even though I lost a lot of muscle obviously, but I was back. I was able to do push-ups, sit-ups. I actually maxed out the PT test for the military back then, but definitely wasn't easy. And this video, you'll see a clip of my friend and I. This is right before I went on leave.
Ball.
Let's go.
Who won a foosball? Who won a foosball? Who won a foosball? Yeah, that's right. I did, right? That's right. I did. That's right. I won. And I won chess too. So now you got to take a picture. Now you got to take a picture of yourself in a thong and post it on Facebook. All right. I'm glad. All right. Now I got. All right. Cool. That's good. That's good. You heard it. Food's gonna photo himself in the thong. We better see it, Food. We better see it.
So when I was on leave, I went to Thailand, and this was me at a Muay Thai event. In Thailand, you can see how skinny I was. And after I came back on leave, I worked out when I could on deployment, but I jogged a lot. So when I came back home, my cardio was actually a lot better. I used to run half marathons all the time. I never ran a full marathon, but back then, yeah, I used to always run like 12 miles just for fun. So when I came home from deployment, I ran a lot. This was right after a 12-mile run. I used to love running back then, but not as much anymore. And when I came back home from deployment, my little brother and I, we went to our first ComCon event, and I fell in love with it right away. This might seem kind of silly, but one of the reasons I love working out is so I could just cosplay different characters, or I get motivation from watching different things like anime or like superhero or comic book character, things like that. And I think when it comes to working out and fitness, you just gotta find something that motivates you, something that you love doing. Basically just find your why, and you gotta enjoy the process. If you're not enjoying it and having fun with it, if you just hate it and look at it as a chore, you're not gonna stick with it. And for me, I really love working out, and I enjoy the process, and cosplay is just something fun I like doing on the side. Just do a little bit, nothing too advanced or crazy, but yeah, that's one of the reasons I enjoy working out too. So, and I combine that with working out. Like you can see me wearing a hoodie with a little Batman logo on it. Fast forward to, this is about last year, right around when quarantine first started. I'm 5'8" and I was about 185 pounds. And in this video, this is actually the heaviest I ever been. I thought I was gonna lose weight during quarantine, but I just ate so much. This is when I went through a crazy bulk. I'm not a big fan of going through big bulks. I'll explain why in my future videos. I'll make a video on bulking and why I prefer not to go on a crazy bulk. I'll also do a video on how I add size. I don't want to go into too much details in this video, but yeah, in this video I'm about 185 pounds. That's about the most heaviest I've ever been. And this was one of the first videos I made last year. It was actually really awkward doing it, but I just kept it up because it actually ended up being one of my most popular videos. So yeah. One thing I definitely want to add is you gotta understand, on platform like social media, people will only generally post, their best photos, good videos, things like that. And you gotta understand different angles makes the biggest difference. This photo, I was just joking around and trolling when I made that post. I think the comment was like before quarantine and 30 days after quarantine. I made it seem like I got really fat, but both photos were taken the exact same day. As you can tell, just different angles makes a big difference. And yeah, And this photo, I'm about around 185 pounds. Before I decided I just want to cut back a little bit and be a little bit more lean. So I calmed down with the ridiculous amount of eating, and I'm about 175 pounds. And this video, I started doing more cardio, working out my abs more, and I just wasn't eating like a crazy amount. I naturally have a fast metabolism, so it's not that hard for me to cut back and be a bit more lean. So yeah, about 175 pounds in this video. So on my initial cut, I was actually worried about losing muscle mass, but I noticed if you do it right, you lose water weight and body fat, obviously, because that's the whole point. But you shouldn't lose much muscle mass if you do it right. I noticed my muscle was still relatively the same, but my abs started showing up more, my stomach got flatter. And through the course of summer all the way to fall and winter, I actually stayed at 175 because I was comfortable at that weight. But recently I started cutting again. This video was shot about a week ago, and I started intermittent fasting. I'll do an update video on my intermittent fasting as well, as far as update and if I liked it and what worked, if it worked for me or not. But yeah, so far I lost close to 20 pounds already since I started cutting, and I noticed I haven't actually lost much muscle mass. It's still there. It's mainly just water weight and body fat. If you look at my picture, this is me right now at 165 pounds. The picture on the left is when I'm about 185 pounds, and you compare the two, it's mainly just my stomach gotten smaller, but my abs are starting to come out more. So yeah, that's the end of this video. If you made it this far, thank you. Please like the video if you like it. Hit me up in the comment section if you have any questions or suggestions. I'll definitely do a update video on how my intermittent fasting is going, and different videos on things like how my bulking process went, different things I wish I would have known when I first started, what worked for me, what didn't work for me, things of that nature. So definitely subscribe if you want to stay up to date. And if you've been subscribed already, thanks again for always supporting me. I appreciate every single one of you. And that's all for this video. It's about 6 o'clock in the morning, so I'm gonna wrap this up, finish editing, and so hopefully I can just upload it soon. And take care, guys. Thank you. Good night, or have a good day, whatever time you're watching this. Take care and be safe.